It's a very playful car. TCS 0. Run this thing. Get rid of that understeer. Come on, we'll go faster. Makes it a little more fun. See how he's understeering right now? He's giving it all that wheel input, but the car is not cornering. That's traction control. If you turn it off, it's gonna give the car a much more free and playful feeling. So see that brake zone, he actually braked right in the beginning, fully on the brakes, but he still overshot the corner. They aren't necessarily accurate for every car. Hey Gameologist, welcome back to another episode of Experts React. My name's Chris Nunes, professional driver for Mazda Motorsports, and today we're going to be diving into some content on Gran Turismo 7, a brand new racing game that just came out. Hands down, this game is fantastic if you're playing on a controller or even a full-blown racing simulator or anything in between. Gameology is launching a new show called Ask a Gamer, where we ask 100 gamers like yourselves some fun and possibly polarizing questions. If interested, you could submit your content to the link down below. Let's check out some of this awesome content. All right, so our first car we're gonna be starting off with is our Camaro. This is a game I enjoy playing a lot, especially on controller. So as far as when I'm not actually training on a racing simulator, and I wanna play a realistic simulator game with my friends, but on controller, this is our go-to game. It's an awesome simulator game, especially for controller feel. So let's check out some of the settings this driver has set up, starting off, to make the game enjoyable to play. The first thing we're gonna notice is this driver has all the factory default settings. We can see this driver has the default racing line that appears. He has traction control on. So if you pay attention to that throttle indicator on the right, you can see it actually has a little bit of throttle modulation and a little bit of red indicator above that, which is displaying our TCS is activated. My recommendation is that bottom right menu where it says track map, toggle that over, turn your TCS down to at least 1. Do not be playing on 3 to 4. You're gonna be losing about 1 second to 2 seconds a lap just in traction control. So if you wanna beat your buddies and you're watching this video, turn that down to 1, if not 0. The next thing to make note of is he also has his brake zone indicators on. So what that means is as he enters a corner right here, we see those red lines on the course. Great tool for learning new tracks on this game. As we get more advanced in the game, we start getting good car setups. We actually won't necessarily abide by those brake zone indicators. We'll actually end up turning that off, and then bam, we're almost at a professional racing sim setup while playing on console. It's awesome. The cockpit view, it looks really accurate to real life, and that's very nice that we get that awesome definition and great graphics in a simulator focused game, because lots of times simulator focused games are just based on overall performance, car feel. They've kind of incorporated it all. So another thing to make note of is the tire compound he's on. I'll be able to tell you guys pretty quick off what compound he's on just by the roll speed he can carry through corners. He's on a street tire by the understeer he got there. See how he's understeering right now? He's giving it all that wheel input, but the car is not cornering. That's traction control. If you turn it off, it's gonna give the car a much more free and playful feeling. And that's what we need to go faster on these circuits. Something awesome about it as well is lots of little bumps and curbs in this track are just so spot on compared to iRacing. And it makes it that much more fun because for me, it feels like, wow, I'm actually driving this track, but I'm on a controller right now. So right now we're starting to see some dynamic weather, and we can actually check out that dynamic weather through that bottom right menu. Again, if we scroll through, what our clouds are doing, when the track's gonna dry out. So for me, competing with friends, if we're doing a 15-lap race with tire wear, it helps us decide, okay, if I'm looking at this menu, I know in 3 laps when I have to pit stop for fuel, I might switch over to a medium compound tire. Just like we would actually see in real racing when I'm on the radio with my mechanic and he's checking the weather app on his phone and he's saying, okay, when we need to pit stop, we're gonna switch to this because the weather's gonna do this, and he would come across the radio, 10-4. So right now, obviously, this is gonna be a full rain tire this driver's on. At least I hope he is. It does look like he's on hards by how the car is hooking up. It's not hooking up like at all. Something I do want to make note of as well for this game, default racing line we see, that yellow dashed line, that is not necessarily the fastest way around these tracks. It's just a baseline. Look, on entry there, he didn't use all the track. That's a very early apex. the car's going to get tight on exit, and you can't have the roll speed to exit the corner for the straightaway. Just things like that once we learn the overall flow of the track, you need to tweak your own lines. You need to take that off because at the end of the day, you won't be as fast. All right, so we actually just switched to the outside camera. So now we're able to pay attention to some different aspects of our graphics. There is typically, when we have a little better weather conditions, the graphics and the paint on the car flourishes. It's awesome, it's beautiful, and it's very enjoyable to play. So yeah, this driver, as I keep watching the gameplay, was on a medium to hard compound tire, not even rains. That's why the car was so loose. It's a very playful car. I've driven these cars lots in real life, and they are very fun with traction control off. They are very forgiving. So this car in particular, TCS 0. Run this thing, get rid of that understeer. Come on, we'll go faster. Makes it a little more fun. Something nice as well is on the entry of that corner, if you look back on the left-hand side, you actually see rubber buildup off track, which is the proper racing line to run. All right, the RX-7 Spirit R. What an absolute hoot and holler to drive. This car with traction control and 0 is very difficult in my opinion. It's a very free car. With this driver leaving the traction control the same, even though he has understeer right now, you can see that the handling characteristics of this car is just much more aggressive, and there's a lot more steering naturally with the rear end of the car. Besides the fact his apex was terrible there, of course. Every single aspect of racing in real life translate to this game almost identically, even if I'm playing on controller. And that is something that's awesome because you can actually learn skills on this game, even playing with controller, that you could apply if you were to bring a car for fun to a track day. Learning why it's important not to be chopping throttle through the apex of the corner when you have traction control off, things like that. Tire wear, pit stop strategy, the list goes on. This game is awesome. I enjoy this game more than iRacing. That's a secret between us. Don't let that get out. Checks off so many boxes. It's unreal. Into our brake zone, came in hot. So see that brake zone, he actually braked right in the beginning, fully on the brakes, but he still overshot the corner. They aren't necessarily accurate for every car. So here we go, into Chris Noon's coaching lesson for the day. Very important to keep your vision as wide as possible when you're driving your car. I have very wide vision. I can see out of the side of my eyes very well. It's very important that we're playing this game, we pay attention to our braking indicators on the side of our tracks, especially real circuits. So it'll tell you 400 indicator for braking, 300, 200, 100, and then obviously nothing after 100. So typically on racing games, if you start off at the 400 brake indicator, you aren't going to overshoot the corner, and you'll understand that, oh man, I could have rolled way more speed through there. Pick out those little things so that way you can have your own advantages to whatever car you're racing with, competing against other people. It's just important to include those things in your driving. I really enjoy this dash. This dash is called a Motec, and I really like that they include real data analysis systems in these cars. And of course, we're on a rally event. These events are so fun to drive. For these cars, you need to make sure that you have the bias for front to rear drive set all the way to rear, meaning we flick the car into the corner sideways, apply power, and gradually roll into power. So right now you can see he's not sliding. It's gonna make him push wide and understeer. Look, full lock. Don't do that. Drive with the rear of your car. Oh yes, the E36. What a legendary car. In the rain. All right, so now he's doing a little one-lap showdown here. Let's see if this man can throw down a 39.3. So let's see what this driver will actually put down. I'm curious. And something else I really like about this game is the racing line where the rubber buildup is very shiny. And that's something that exactly happens in real life. Even the curbing, the paint gets very shiny. It's important to stay off those shiny spots when we're racing. So he actually missed it. He was at a 40, and he could have worked around that. Different tire choice. His car was very free. Traction control turned down, driving a little different in those rainy conditions, staying off those shiny lines and curbing I was talking about. If you say Porsche, leave the video. I don't like that. Porsche. All right, here we go. Into a race. He just passed the Mazda, comes into the corner. There we go. Now his car's a little more free, but you can still see the traction control is really turned up. That's another reason why it's actually slowing you down in the game, is it's upsetting the weight transfer of your car. And you might be thinking, Chris, you are out of your mind to think weight transfer will affect you in a game. Well, it affects this game because it is that realistic. It is important that we learn how to drive the car proper. So it's a good reason not to run traction control. Unfortunately, just like that, that is the end of our Gran Turismo 7 gaming content. This was a blast. This game is hands down a hoot and a hauler to play. Once again, my name is Chris Nunes, professional driver for Mazda Motorsports. If you want to check out more content like this, make sure you check out Gameology's Facebook and YouTube channel. And actually, if you would like to play this game with me while I'm going hardcore on a controller, reach out to me through Instagram at Chris2 and then Nunes. We'll make sure we have some fun with it. As always, everyone, I'll see you in the next video, and we'll be ready to have some more fun with our Gameology Experts Reacts in our racing car division. And just like that, I hope my hair looks okay. I might need a hairstylist to come in here and do my hair. Okay.